Good morning and welcome to the USA Cares podcast. I'm your host, Matt Castor. I am joined as always by Alexis Becker. Good morning, Alexis.
Good morning, Matt.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
How was your jury duty vacation?
It was anything but a vacation.
Really?
Yeah.
But aren't you just proud that you served your civic duty and gave back to the community?
I am. I am glad that I was able to contribute to the justice system of the Commonwealth of Kentucky in Jefferson County.
Very good.
I did my duty, and maybe they'll call me in another 10 years.
Well, if you're lucky,
Second time.
Right? Yeah. Well, you were missed, but Stephanie filled in.
She did a great job. She did.
Great episode last week with Mark Riley from the Washington Tattoo. I had no idea what a Washington Tattoo was. I assumed it was something other than what it was.
It was a neat little history lesson he gave there about
pretty cool.
The tattoo.
Mark's a smart guy. So definitely listen to that episode. They've got a gala coming up pretty soon in Washington, D.C., and definitely something, if you're in the area, to check out. Well, if you are new to the USA Cares podcast, welcome. We're honored to have you with us. This is a podcast all about veterans and all about serving the veterans who have served our country. So we talk about everything from the challenge of transitioning out of the military to what life was like in the military, and just share a lot of great stories with a lot of special guests. So I hope you'll join us each week. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Just make this part of your weekly routine. Alexis, we've got a lot of companies who are really coming out of their way. You know, I feel like we add more every week, but we've got some new ones.
We do.
Yeah, and especially for the event coming up in Ohio, up north of Cincinnati in Westchester, Ohio. We've got an event at Topgolf. Shout out to Topgolf for working with USA Cares.
Yeah, we're going to be doing whole bunch of those events all over the place.
Yeah, hopefully.
So this is the first one.
First one is in Cincinnati, and then anywhere there's a Topgolf, we're hoping to have an event going on. I think there's one coming up in Minnesota, possibly California. So we'll
and here in Louisville whenever they
and
open.
in Louisville when they build it, right? So I think they're working on it.
Should be done soon. Right?
Yeah. Maybe we can get some people to speed that up, but that'd be great. As always, we want to thank. Oh, before I forget, Ernst Metals, a new supporter of that event in Ohio.
Yes.
So big shout out to Ernst Metals. So thank you for that. We talk a lot about Hardee's and Carl's Jr. We just came out of this Roundup campaign on the West Coast for the Hardee's and Carl's Jr., where people went through the drive-through, they rounded up their purchase to the next dollar, and that change went to USA Cares. That was big.
Yeah.
Like that was really, really helpful at a time of year when we tend to not have as much support. So big thank you to Hardee's and Carl's Jr. Remember, if you're going to spend your money to go out to eat, spend money with a company that's giving back and make sure that they do their part. Renewal by Anderson, Cushman, and Wakefield, just a couple other companies that are really helping out. And of course, our good friends here at the Speakeasy Podcast Network. Woo-hoo. Robert and friends, Andrew and Joel and all the rest of them, really doing an amazing job. Really helping out USA Cares make this podcast what it is.
They do.
If only we knew the website where people could learn more.
Oh, I think I can help out with that. Speakeasy Podcast Network.
No. I knew it.
SpeakeasyNetwork.com.
Oh my gosh. You have one job. One job.
I know. See, you put me on the spot and I got nervous.
Oh my gosh. Robert, that was not my fault.
We'll
I'm
rewind
just
that
saying.
and cut it out.
Oh my goodness.
SpeakeasyNetwork.com.
Thank you.
Got
We're
it.
going to have to do some creative editing on that. You know, when you only speak like
I'm
one
just gonna leave it in.
every, just leave it in. When you only speak like, you're just going to have to buy another domain name.
You might just have to Speakeasy Podcast Network.
That's it. But when you only speak every once in a while on this podcast and it's wrong, like your percentage of accuracy.
That's why I continue to just not speak.
You do great. All right. So some events coming up, Alexis. What are they?
So we've got our Career Expo coming up on the 17th of March.
Where is that?
That is Vine Grove, Kentucky, which is right outside of Fort Knox. And
I think our buddy Steven's going to be going to that.
Oh, yeah?
I think so.
I might be there.
You going to be there?
I might be there.
I hope you're there. All right.
Yep. It's open.
Robert, you going? Robert's
Rob will
going.
be
There we go.
All our buddies will be there. It is open and free to service members and their spouses and veterans as well. So go check it out. Lots of companies looking to hire these folks.
big thanks to Paula Redding for putting that together. She's doing a great job to put that.
And Greg. Don't forget Greg.
And Greg Bishop, Dr. Greg,
Dr.
who's been a
Greg.
guest on this podcast.
Dr. Greg has been working hard on this.
We might have to get Paula back on sometime.
And thank you to Cardinal Moving.
Cardinal Moving's been huge.
Yep.
Yeah.
They are awesome.
So, okay. We've got something kind of different coming up on March 21st. We're going to get a whole bunch of people to come together and on the same day run a Facebook fundraiser.
Yes.
And the idea is a
Force multiplier.
Force
this
multiplier.
is called our
I
Force
knew you wanted to go
multiplier Facebook fundraiser. So,
Absolutely. So if you think about us on March 21st, go ahead and set a reminder in your phone right now. Ask Siri to make that save the. Oh, my phone probably just went off. Ask Siri to do that for you, but to set a reminder to run a Facebook fundraiser on March 21st.
Do you want to know how to do that? Visit our Facebook page, click on the button that says fundraisers, and it'll say create fundraiser. Click that button. And then hit create.
Unbelievable.
It's super easy.
Wow. There you go.
Yep.
All right. I'll have to listen back like 3 times to those instructions, but I'll get it done. Virtual run coming up beginning of March 22nd. That'll be running throughout the year.
Literally running.
Wow. You know, your contributions today have been significant.
Oh, they're gold.
So this virtual run will be 22 miles in 2022 for the 22. So we're doing this in memory of those who have taken their life due to their military service. We're losing 22 veterans per day right now, and we want to do something significant to think about those people. We want to eliminate that number, and this event in and of itself won't necessarily do that, but I hope it creates some awareness for people of what's going on in the world of veterans, and maybe we can make a difference in a few lives. Yep. 2 other things that we'll get to our guest, but coming up July 23rd is our annual gala. This is a big deal downtown Louisville at the Galt House. We'd love for you to be a part of it. We'll have some information coming up on our website very, very soon.
Yes.
So make sure you check that out at usacares.org. And then finally, we have a Valhalla golf outing. If you are a golf fan, you know the course Valhalla is a PGA course in Louisville. And that's coming up September 19th, so look for more information on that as well. Okay. So that was a lot. A lot of info there, but so last week we had Mark Riley. It was a great episode. We talked a little bit about some music therapy and some of the effects of music in the military. The week before that, we had Rod Rodriguez, a Special Forces sniper, a Green Beret, and he was talking about art therapy. Mm-hmm. Now we're going to shift gears because the Marines have come to town. All right, I hope we're ready. We got a box of crayons out. We're ready to go. And Robert finally gets one of his own in the room. So welcoming for the first time to the USA Cares podcast, the executive director, I almost messed that up, the executive director of the Kentucky chapter, our very own Mr. Stephen Brown. Hello, Stephen.
Thank you for having me here. It's pretty cool.
You've got a good radio voice, you know.
I have heard that before. I've got a face for radio,
pretty good.
too.
You do. I didn't want to say that, but
yeah, it's all right.
So congratulations on getting this Kentucky chapter started. This is pretty exciting.
It really is. I can remember back in September meeting Trace for the first time at a golf scramble.
And you came back.
And I just said, I think that you and I are somebody that need to get to know each other.
Yeah.
And here we are, 5-6 months later, and we've got big plans for Kentucky, and really excited to get things going and see what we can do to be the best chapter USA Care has.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, that's what you keep telling me. Of all the chapters, and I just learned of a new one today, which I'm not going to spill the beans on, but there's another new chapter coming. I think you know what it is, but don't say it. But we have 18 chapters right now, soon to be 19 chapters, and you're making a bold statement on record right now. You realize that.
That's fine.
You're calling out the Texas chapter, all these other chapters that have been pretty big.
Well, we like what everybody else has done. We take a little bit of what they've done, and then you bring in myself and Robert, and the Marine Corps we're just gonna kind of clean things up.
I think Robert had a different way to phrase it other than clean stuff up.
He probably did.
I think Robert, did you say you're what is it you said?
We're gonna clean things up, but we're gonna break a couple things.
We might do that as well.
Break the mold.
Is that Marine style? Just run in, bowl in a China shop.
Bowl in a China shop. Exactly.
There you go. Well, that's good. So, one of the things I always like to learn about people is so you're here you're directing this Kentucky chapter. How did you get to where you are? And did you ever think you would be doing this?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Just to not give a whole background of my life, but I'm from Jeffersonville, Indiana originally. My younger brother and I both served in the Marine Corps. I don't know how my mother survived with 2 sons on active duty at the same time.
Yeah.
But my mom was the executive director of an American Red Cross for 17 years.
Nice.
Wow.
She was always, there were a lot of times in my life as a teenager where I would have much rather been somewhere cool, but I was at a fundraiser.
Yeah.
Or I was at a banquet watching her receive an award.
Yeah.
So I always kind of knew that I would be going down this path eventually.
That's cool that she showed you that and she
Yes.
taught you that growing up. That's
Yes.
awesome.
Actually about 3 years ago on her birthday, my brother and I, and as with mom, we had a lunch together and we talked about how we were going to do, we wanted to do a veteran nonprofit together. We wanted to do something together. That was the first talk. We all talked about it all the time. We wanted to come up with something our own. Unfortunately, within about 6 months, mom was diagnosed with terminal cancer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
She didn't make it much longer than about 9 more months.
Wow.
So that conversation kind of died. But now that my kids are a little bit older, my wife and I have been together for almost 21 years. And she's kinda tired of-
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We're at that place where she kind of wants to get rid of me a little bit.
I can understand.
I've spent the last 7 years as a high school baseball coach, and that's kind of winding down a little bit. So this is the right time for me. And,
Yeah.
and this is being a veteran, this is a huge passion for me to give back. I was very fortunate in my service to come home whole, mind and body. Not everybody that I served with did, and people after that. So for me to be as fortunate as I was serving on active duty and coming back, I have to carry that on. I have to take care of those that I can. And not only can I carry on the legacy that my mom instilled in me, but I can honor those that absolutely mean the world to me and should mean the world to every one of us.
Absolutely. So true. And I love hearing the why. You know, everybody has their why. Why are they doing what they do? And I love your why just because you're carrying on a family tradition and you're honoring those that you've served with and those who served before you. So I think that's awesome. Tell me about Marine Corps. Why did you go into Marine Corps?
Wow. I have no idea.
Really?
I was never the go in the woods and hunt,
Yeah.
go camping kind of
I
guy.
wasn't either. I made it one day in the Boy Scouts and I'm like, yeah, this is
Yeah, I
gonna
never
work
did the
out,
Boy
you
Scouts.
know?
I had a very, very close personal family friend that went to Paris Island and came back a completely different person. And I said, that's what I'm doing. That's where I was 21 years old.
Just the confidence and kind of the
Just
walking tall thing.
completely changed his life. I was 21 years old. I had a job. I lived on my own, but I was still kind of lost at that point. You know, I didn't have anything that I was really striving for. I can remember the conversations with my parents. All right, I told mom, I'm going to the Marine Corps. Mom cried. She was happy and proud. I told my dad, I'm going to the Marine Corps. My dad was an Army Vietnam veteran.
He was less
He did not
excited.
take the Marine Corps well. But it worked out, and it was. I had a different path in the military. I was in from 1996 to 2000.
Yeah.
So I came off active duty at Christmas of 2000. So 9 months before 9/11 happened.
Yep.
I spent the next 3.5 years dreading every time the phone rang, thinking that I was going to be called back. And,
Right.
and I don't know why I never was. I guess it
Right.
was God's plan for me to, stay home and get married and have kids and be a baseball coach and
Yep.
now be here.
Right.
But for 3 years, every single time that phone rang, you're constantly, you can't help but think that this is it. All right, they're calling me back now.
What's that emotional roller coaster like September 11th for you? When you're so recently out, and maybe that's not a good question to ask, but I mean, I'm just curious. Like if I'm in that situation, I'm sitting there because I remember, like most people do, where they were, what they were doing that day, and it was already an emotional day. But for somebody who had just come out of the military, realizing this is probably going to lead to a military conflict,
Yes.
what's your emotions that day?
Initially, anger.
Yeah.
You're very angry. My first thought is, did I serve with anybody that was in New York that day? Then and I know a lot of people immediately wanted to go back into active duty. A lot of people signed up.
Yeah,
for the first
they did.
time.
They
there
did.
was a huge,
And they're all
influx in
retiring
that.
now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess with my mom's position at the Red Cross, it was a little different for me. My immediate drop was to go straight to her and help in that need. So I put myself right behind Mom. I said,
Right.
I know the Red Cross is going to be huge in this. What can I do to help you? So that kind of distracted me from signing back up.
Yeah.
Fulfilling my inactive reserve duty.
Yeah.
Again, it was, all part of God's plan for,
Right.
The way things went.
Wow. Very cool. What were some of the connections you made in the Marine Corps? Some of the people that you remember?
Oh man.
Who's that one that sticks out to you? Like,
Gosh, well, I mean, you and I've had some conversations recently that, I just very recently, in February, had a reunion after 22 years with some guys.
yep.
Was an incredible experience. And I think, one thing I told you guys is high school reunion is different. You can go to your 20-year high school reunion and, hey, we were friends. It's nice to see you again.
Everybody looks a little older, a little fatter.
A little different.
Yeah.
22 years later, I see guys from the Marine Corps that I hadn't seen in 22 years, and we're standing in the airport crying and hugging, and
Wow.
and it was like you never left.
That's really cool.
But somebody, as you asked, that was impactful for me was Sergeant Bobby Wayne Jones. Was my best friend in the military. Was honestly one of the best Marines I ever served with.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, within a few months of us getting out, he was tragically killed in a car accident.
Sorry.
Thank you. The family reached out to me pretty quickly. I went down there. I think I moved in. I stayed down there for a month, and
Yeah.
22 years later, they're still my family.
That's awesome.
We still stay in touch. His older sister, Rachel, we actually took her on the reunion last
that's
month.
so cool.
Just so she could be there and hear the stories of her brother.
Yeah.
Those of us, we were the ones that were closest to him his last 4 years.
And that means so much to the family because you're keeping that memory alive, and it makes them feel like they're still around.
Yeah. It
That's
means
awesome.
a lot to me. It does.
Yeah.
To still be able to call Kim, his mom.
Yeah.
Mama Kim and Rachel and Thad. That whole family it's just, you don't get that anywhere else from the military.
Wow.
It's hard to explain that bond and camaraderie, and it's special.
Yeah.
So,
Very good. So what? So you come out. You decide to finish your time in the Marine Corps. You come out. Were you able to serve? Was there any things? Was there anything you took with you after that? Did you keep a connection to the military? Did you stay in touch with people? Did you stay giving back? Kind of what was your path?
I got married and became a dad real quick.
Well, that'll fill your time.
So it does. There were several guys that I stayed with that we stayed in touch. I was I was somebody that when I left the Marine Corps, I was ready to leave the Marine Corps. There was no question that I was going to be a 4 years and I was done guy.
Yeah.
Just because of the path that I took in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
As I said, I was not a camping, going hunting, Boy Scout kind of guy. And I went into the infantry where I'm laying in the dirt, playing guns, and just it wasn't me.
You were breaking stuff.
But I was very fortunate on our very first training exercise to be designated as the personal driver for our platoon gunnery sergeant.
Nice.
And that trickled down into every deployment for 4 years. I went as high as the battalion commander personal driver or the safety driver on a training mission or anything like that. And honestly, there were times where I felt like, all right, I'm kind of getting the easy way out here. I'm not doing what some of my friends are doing, what my brothers are doing out here. But then I saw what they were doing. I'm like, all right, well, I'm kind of good driving the safety truck behind them. I'm good. I'm not
wrong with
walking
that.
26 miles with a heavy 81 millimeter mortar on my back.
Yeah.
But honestly, I felt like at that time, maybe I hadn't done everything that they had done until the reunion. And then you have a reunion with the guys 22 years later, and you hear that, where I thought being in the office with the company commander and being in touch with the leadership was me getting the easy way out. I didn't realize that I was actually their bridge. I was the one that kind of was the link between the leadership and the grunts, so to speak, that, I was able to keep them informed on things and warn them on things and, maybe, slip them some information that they didn't need to know, but they did need to know.
Right.
And 22 years later, to hear the way they looked at you was completely different than the way you looked at yourself for the last 22 years.
Yeah.
It was kind of humbling, but it was cool. It was really cool.
Wow. Yeah, that's one of always the interesting things when we have these conversations. And one of the questions I ask a lot is, who is it that really sticks out to you? Who's that one person that helped you or meant a lot to you? And it's always interesting. One, I like for people to say that, because a lot of times they wouldn't necessarily say it to them if they were sitting in the room here, but they can say it on a podcast a little bit easier. So, if this gives them a platform to thank somebody, I think that's awesome. But what you took away from it was pretty wild. And I think that to hear that you didn't think you had an impact or you were helping people that much, and to find out you were, even though it's 22 years later, is pretty awesome.
It is cool, but I being at my age now, it is who I am now.
Yeah.
7 years as a high school baseball coach, you're always helping kids. You don't know that if you may be the only parental figure a high school kid has as a coach. I took a lot of pride in that. I've always been, and again, we've talked about it. I knew that I would be on this path at some point in my life just because of the way I was raised.
Yeah.
But the military, instilled some other things in me that helped me get to where I'm at now. I'm incredibly OCD. My wife of 3 years loves that.
Robert, did you get that from the Marine Corps as well?
No, sir.
No? Okay. Just checking.
But that gives me, some of the skills that I need to be able to do what Robert and I are going to do. Communication, organization,
right,
follow through,
right.
All those things that have led me down different career paths over the last, 22 years. But it's hard not to continue to say that everything led me to where I'm at right now.
Absolutely. That's good. So what is, for somebody who doesn't know what this chapter thing is that we're talking about, this USA Cares chapter thing, this Kentucky chapter, talk through that. Talk through what it is, what you're going to be doing, maybe even how they can be involved.
So I'm, of course, very new here. As of, I guess, the end of January, 1st of February, when I became the official executive director with my right-hand man here in the booth, Robert.
Yeah.
We were both at that initial meeting together.
He's the best recruiter, by the way. You know why? Because people come in here, they sit down, and he points at them and said, "You're going to be part of the Kentucky chapter." And they're like, okay.
Yeah.
He's very good at it.
Yeah. He didn't intimidate me, but, but I knew I needed him with me.
Yeah.
But we're going to be a good team together.
Absolutely.
We've had those meetings with Jenny Davis, and she kind of laid out the path that she wanted to go, that you all want to go. May have been a little bit slower getting where we're going, but we wanted to do it the right way. I've had countless lunches and dinners and coffee appointments and phone calls with people that have shown interest, or people that I've seen on Facebook that may have had a Mission 22 tag on their Facebook page. I see that. I instantly know you have a spot in your heart for veterans.
That's right.
Well, I'm going to start a conversation with you. What can I do to get you involved with us? We have this mission to help all the veterans and their families that we can help with financial needs, training, job placement. There's so many things that USA Cares does that just, it drew me in instantly.
Yeah.
So we've spent the last, 2 months building our team. As of this week, we have filled our full leadership team with committees. And according to Jenny, today we are the first chapter that has actually done that.
Congratulations. That's fantastic.
Got to lay the groundwork. You got to have a good foundation for a chapter.
And I have done foundations before. I've been involved in nonprofits. I was a founding president of a smaller nonprofit, but I've seen that if you don't do it the right way, if you go in, you can't do it by yourself. You can't do anything like this by yourself. It's too big. There's too many people to help. So we took a list that was given to us, and then we grew it, and we talked to all these people, and we invited, a group of people in for a meeting. Thanks to I'll throw a plug out there to Dave Burnett at Thrivent, who offered
Financial.
His office space for us.
Absolutely.
To have this meeting, and we extended an invitation to 15 people.
Yeah.
We heard a response back from 14.
Crazy.
And 12 came. And when I stood up in front of everybody for the first time, nervous as hell, to be honest with you, I gave my spiel, and every one of them committed to us.
That's awesome.
So, and that's nothing to do with me. That's the mission that USA Cares has. It's something that everybody can get behind.
Yeah.
And I would love it for anybody that's within the Southern Indiana, Kentucky area that's hearing this, that wants to help. Go to the USA Cares website, go down to the chapters, look at the Kentucky chapter, hit the email, send me a message. I will come meet with you. We will talk. We will find a place for you to be part of this team.
And the big thing with this chapter program has been a dream of ours for a long time. And it's something that is all around the country. It's not just in Kentucky. It's all around the country, but it's really giving all those people who say, I would like to do something, but I don't know what to do, a way to go.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is really cool. We're giving, regardless of how much money you have, regardless of how much time you have, we'll find a place for you.
Yes.
Let's get you involved.
Yes.
Right?
There's donate buttons on the Facebook page and on LinkedIn.
Don't be afraid to use them either.
Absolutely. I've been on LinkedIn for maybe 8 or 9 years.
Yeah. Alexis, you got that donate button on there?
Of course I do.
Thank you.
My LinkedIn profile in the last month and a half of being involved with USA Cares has tripled.
Has it really?
It's
That's
incredible.
great.
Every time you share something, more people see it. That everybody has a soft spot somewhere in their heart for a veteran.
Sure.
There's so much untapped potential out there. And the fact that we have veterans out there that need help is it's a dishonor to the service that they did. And, it's a personal mission of mine to help them in any way I can.
Well, you're going to raise money for USA Cares, which ultimately helps keep veterans in their homes, keeps them in their jobs, stops their vehicles from being repossessed, and on and on and on, and eliminates those factors that can often contribute to veteran suicide. That's at the heart of it, what you're going to do. The side benefit of what you're doing is all those people who aren't talking to you, who are just listening.
Yeah.
Who are sitting there thinking through all the stuff they're going through right now, but maybe haven't gotten to that point where they're ready to speak up yet. And you're going to make them not feel strange, not feel like an outcast, not feel all alone, but they're going to be sitting there going, oh, wow, there's a lot of other people just like me.
Yeah, I hope so.
And that's the powerful part of it to me. That's really cool. So you're going to have some events coming up?
We do.
What are you doing?
We have our first event that we're actually gonna have. I hope that they're okay with me going ahead and saying it because I haven't actually posted their information. But again, Dave Burnett with Thrivent Financial is going to sponsor us. We're hoping to have a membership drive.
Nice.
At Off the Rails. It's here in Louisville. We have an event in June that we are hoping to have at Louisville FC Soccer. We're still working on some details with that. Nice. We're going to have a July, maybe June event with Parlor Pizza in Jeffersonville, Indiana. concert series. I'm getting a little help on that one, but we're going to make it as big of an event as we can. We're going to try to tap into the Top Golf thing when they ever get this one built here in Louisville.
Can you speed that up?
I think they built the bridge across the Ohio River quicker than they built Top Golf. We're going to do another job fair with Paula later in the fall.
I like that.
Several things. Again, Robert and I sitting in the first meeting with Jenny Davis, who is as our chapter outreach manager, I believe is what her title is.
Yep.
And she said, this is your goal. This is what your financial goal is for the year. And I think Robert and I both looked at each other and said, we'll double that easy.
Oh, I hope so.
We like to hear that.
So,
I hope so.
And I can't forget about the golf scramble in Lexington.
The golf scramble in Lexington,
That's in August, right?
That is August the 8th. Yes. It's going to be at Champions Trace, which is a PGA Tour event golf course. Be a really cool experience. We're still fine tuning some of those details, looking for title sponsors, things like that. So lots of opportunity to help the Kentucky chapter and get involved.
So here's why this is important. If you're listening going, oh, neat, they're raising money for a nonprofit. That's awesome. But let me explain to you. Let me put the faces to the people that money is going to. So when I look at our numbers right now, as far as people reaching out for help and what we can offer, we have people who, sheriff at the door, I'm being evicted. I'm 4 months behind on my mortgage, and I don't know where I'm going to live, and I'm going to have to send my kids to live with somebody else. I need you guys to help me right now. Those are the people reaching out. And those requests for assistance right now are up over 100%. And what it costs us to stop that eviction is up 250%. And we can't help everybody unless everybody gets involved. And that's why it's not even a, hey, if you want to get involved. It's no, we're saying we need you involved. We need to do something now because we have people who are desperate and we have people who are hurting. And the gas prices aren't going to help.
No, things are going to get worse.
They're going to get worse. Yeah. And with the war raging in Europe now, it's going to get to a point where our demand far exceeds our ability to help. And so we need everybody. We mentioned, hey, if you want to donate, if you want to give, if you want to do this. But the end of the day, the thing that helps the most is your financial contribution. So consider a gift to USA Cares. Help us make that mission what it could be and help as many people as possible. So that's my little soapbox moment. But we need your help, and that's why these chapters are so important.
And one thing I will add to that, something that I learned from some of you guys in initial meetings that it struck me, but I donate to this as well. So I'm not going to stand in front of a group of people and ask them to donate money if I'm not doing it. I just, you know, you seem like a hypocrite if you're doing that.
Absolutely.
You know, you give money, I'm not going to, but but I absolutely donate to this every month. My family will continue to do that. And, that it makes it easier for you to stand up in front of everybody and say, hey,
lead by example.
We need your help.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
and those monthly donations really do, sustain our programs in the long term.
Yeah, it helps with the whole planning process and knowing what's available and knowing what's going to be coming so that we can help more people. So important.
But if you do donate, don't forget to click on that Kentucky button and help us out a little bit.
Give to the Kentucky chapter. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you're doing so much, man. I can't thank you enough. It's just going to be, it's going to be remarkable to see what you're able to get going. The job fair concept, that's a relatively new thing that we started doing, especially with the chapters. But that in and of itself is going to help families, not just here in Kentucky, but around the country.
Yeah, I agree. I'm glad that we got the invite on that.
Yeah.
And to help and then to kind of do our own at the end of the year. Excited about that as well.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Well, man, thank you so much. Thank you for all you're doing. Greatly appreciate you. I think the work of the Kentucky chapter is going to be really special.
I do too. So we've got high goals for ourselves, don't we, Rob?
He's getting the thumbs up there. Anything you want to mention before we wrap up? Anything that you want to make sure you say?
No, look me up on LinkedIn, Stephen Brown, STEPH. It's PH, and that goes in the middle, not at the beginning.
It's not Stefan.
Yeah, it's not Stefan. Go to the USA Cares Facebook, LinkedIn,
We're everywhere.
website.
Where are we,
everywhere.
We're on
Alexis?
all the social platforms, every one you can think of. Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram. I always forget one. Facebook.
YouTube.
It's all the main ones. Yes.
Yeah.
TikTok,
Yes.
any of that.
Yeah, TikTok's not so good. I think we got too old for TikTok.
I've
Yeah.
got some teenagers at the house that can help with
Yeah,
that.
thanks. So, well, it's awesome, man. Thank you so much. This is great, and I look forward to seeing what you guys do.
Thank you for having me. I
Yeah,
appreciate
no
it.
problem. Alexis, where can people go if they want to learn more about all the things happening at USA Cares?
Go to usacares.org. That one's easy.
Really? That's all you got?
Well,
Make sure you
yes.
go to the events tab and look at upcoming events and see all of the things that are coming up. That's what you meant to say.
Right. Check
And-
back often because we're always adding new things. We've, talked about a lot of events that are coming up that might not make it on the website yet. So keep coming back and checking those out. And
Absolutely.
definitely follow us on all the social platforms because those will be updated a lot faster.
Absolutely. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make this part of your weekly routine. Check out some of those older episodes. There's some great material in there. And we hope that you'll listen to them, that you'll reach out. Give us your feedback. Reach out to Matt, M-A-T-T, at usacares.org, and tell us what you think. Tell us which episodes you like, which ones you didn't like. And but we'd love to hear back from you. So from all of us at USA Cares, thank you so much, and we look forward to being with you next time.